Onward. Onward is an animation, adventure, and family comedy fantasy film directed by Dan Scanlon and written by Dan Scanlon and Jason Headley. The film is set in a suburban fantasy world where two teenage elf brothers embark on a quest to discover if there is still magic out there. The film's leads are Tom Holland as Ian Lightfoot and Chris Pratt as Barley. As Barley Lightfoot. So guys, and also another point is that Onward is currently available for digital release, meaning that you can purchase it, whether that's going to be, I think, Amazon, or you can find, I think if you have an Amazon account, you can definitely find the film there. So go to Amazon if you want to sit down and watch Onward. And it will be coming, if you have a Disney account, it will be coming to you on April the 3rd or 2nd, either one of the two of those dates. But yeah, okay, so Onward. Overall, a very good film, I must say. But I don't know what it was with the very beginning of Onward. I couldn't find myself being invested in it. And I think that's purely because they made it feel a little bit throwaway. They kind of just went to the audience, you know, here is the folklore, here is the mythos of the magic itself. And I wanted to be a little bit more in that world because I saw some intriguing and interesting things. But by the time you feel like you've warmed into it, it kind of skips and gets into the story of Ian and Barley, when really I wanted to see that world a little bit more from maybe the dad's perspective. That was just my opinion. Not really a discrepancy, but I felt like the film could have done with that maybe a little bit more. They just kind of went, yeah, here's the folklore, this is the world you're in, and this is where we're at now. I felt like for the empathy that the film is portraying with these characters, I felt like it could have been okay for them to stay a little bit longer in that aspect of the film during the first act. And another small, minute detail discrepancy I had with the film was, in the first act, I don't know what it was, it's like Chris Pratt, he felt too forward, you know? Now, not to say his acting is bad, because it's not whatsoever, because during the second and third act, he really does pick it up, but it felt a little bit too on the nose. It, like the comedy and the banter, if, you know, I couldn't really see that level of comedy maybe interesting a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. Like, you know, even kids, they're not that gullible to take it for face value, you know. And I felt it was forcing it a little bit. Like I don't know what it was, but the comedy went in the first act, it didn't know what audience to really, you know, are we going down the humour of everyone, or are we going down the humour of, okay, I'm now talking to a 3-year-old, you know? And it felt like the film was a little bit trying to find its feet a little bit in the sense of its direction. But other than that, with Chris Pratt, when you got into the second and third act with the character of Barley, I felt like when he was actually directed based around like these action set pieces, that's when the best really did come out of the character of Barley, and also the best out of Chris Pratt. You know, I'm not here to sit here and point fingers at this person, but you could see that there was a lot of ideas as to how Chris Pratt was going to approach this character. And, you know, for some reason, in the beginning, it kind of left me walking on eggshells as to what I was really watching. But the film brought it back for me. And I think Tom Holland done an excellent job. There was an element of me watching this film where I was watching it, and I was thinking to myself, because obviously we know Tom Holland from him being Spider-Man, and we know Chris Pratt from being Peter Quill. And I don't know what it was for me, but I couldn't help but think, looking at those characters, I'm like, you know, it's them in a booth somewhere, you know, saying these lines and so on and so forth. But the brilliant aspect of the animation in this film, you know, after that 5 minute period, I couldn't depict between, you know, I couldn't really look at the character of Ian and the character of Barney and go, oh, that's Chris Pratt and that is Tom Holland. Do you see what I'm saying? So the brilliance and of the animation really did do its job. And look, big up to all the animation team at Pixar. They can't do any wrong, really. They've been doing great things for the last how many years? Last 2 decades or so. And this is another great addition to the Pixar family, so you would say. And Octavia Spencer's always is in this film. Thought she was good. Not really a main vocal point of the film, but I'll say this as well: if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter as well, and even Shazam, you are going to love the design of this film and the cinematography. Like, if any of that caters to you, then you will fall head over heels with this film, 100%. And also the third act, when the film then pieced all the character arcs, all the character development, it really did resonate, and, you know, had to fight back them tears, the man tears. So yeah, well, with any Pixar film, they do make it as emotional as possible, and obviously making their films for the large variety of people, whether you be an adult or a kid. So that's one of the great factors with Onward and with a lot of Pixar's work as well. So I'll say this. Pixar, I will say this. I will say this three times now. I will be giving Onward a 8 out of 10. Thinking about it, I was leaning with a 7.5, but I think it's worth it. It's 8 out of 10. And obviously, my heart goes out to the whole cast and crew of Onward. You know, this film sadly has been hit hard because of the pandemic, and in an ideal world, this no doubt would have Onward gone on to break even and make an amount of profit. So it's a really good film. If you've got a family, watch this film. You have a really good time with this film. I can promise you that, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video as well, and I'll see you in the next video.